Okay, folks, I hope you know there is change in the timetable. Tomorrow morning we are meeting at 9 o'clock, right, for the Mathiko lecture. Yeah? Okay. So, we agreed in the last class that we will start by discussing tests of hypothesis. Why do we need tests of hypothesis? Because you know that beta hat is equal to summation in a simple linear regression where you have yi is equal to alpha plus beta xi plus ei. Right? So there are two ways of looking at beta hat. One is of course to look at it as what you get by minimizing the sum of squares. The other is of course the simpler way of looking at beta hat as essentially an estimator of the covariance of xy upon the variance of x. I think the second idea is more useful, and that's the idea that we are going to keep on using because it's intuitively simple. Yeah, it tells you that we are trying to estimate the covariance of xy upon the variance of x, and the natural estimator for the covariance of xy is summation xi minus x bar yi minus y bar upon summation upon n, whereas for the denominator summation xi minus x bar square upon n minus 1 upon n, and you divide those things and n cancels. Right? Okay, so that's the simple kind of an idea, and that also ensures for you that you know that that covariance xi ei has to be set to 0. If you actually find beta hat by minimizing the sum of squares, you can get the same answer really. That you get the condition summation xi ei is equal to 0. And if you don't impose the condition summation xi ei is equal to 0, then you don't get enough equations to solve for enough unknowns, so beta hat cannot be done. That's an alternative way of looking at the same issue. When you are looking at the general linear regression model, it's useful to think of y, finding a point in y, which has some representation as beta 1 x1 plus beta 2 x2 plus beta 3 x3 in the x plane. That you can do by having the condition x dash e is equal to 0. Right? When you solve for x dash e is equal to 0, you get beta hat. You do what's the difference between a simple linear regression model and a multiple linear regression model? Yeah? More explanatory variables. There is x1, x2, x3, x4, right? Okay, and you put it in the matrix form. Okay, now what I want you to tell me as a quiz, right? When I do a simple one variable linear regression model, I impose the condition summation xi ei is equal to 0. So I am imposing the condition that correlation between the explanatory variable and the error term is 0. When I am having two variables, say x1 and x2, what are those conditions? Is what I want you to tell me.
So the correlation between if we have two variables x1 and x2, the correlation between them has to be minimum, and the variance of each should be maximum.
In order to find beta hat in a simple linear regression, we impose the condition that summation xi ei is equal to 0. When I now have two equations, x1, two variables, x1 and x2, what are the conditions that I need to impose? Yeah. What do you think would be the answer? Let's chat. Yeah? Be a little bit more vociferous. Say things. You're all young people here. Yeah. What is the condition that we'll have to impose?
The correlation with either of the expected variables has to be zero.
Correlation with, so she says that correlation with x1 and x2 will have to be 0. Can you prove this? Can you prove this? So suppose you have, you have to say x dash e is equal to 0. Yeah? You have to say x dash e is equal to 0. What x dash, what, so if you do x dash e, what do you get? What is x dash? x11, x12, x13, x14, x15 up to x1n, right? The first row, first column in x will be x1 variable, which will become the first row, right? What is the second row? x21, x22, x23, x24, x25, x2n. This is x dash. I multiply that with E1, E2, E3, En. Sure? So what will be the dimension of this matrix? It's a, how many columns does this matrix have? N. How many rows does it have? 2. 2 by n into n by 1, which will be a 2 by 1. So 2 by 1, first row into first column. What do you get? x1 on E1 plus x12 E2 plus x13 E3, right? So the first condition that you get is summation x1i ei. And what is the second row? What is the second first row, first column? Yeah? 0, 0. So what does it mean? You have now two conditions. x1i ei is equal to 0. x2i ei is equal to 0. Yeah? So you are imposing one condition which says the covariance between x1 and e must be 0. You are imposing the condition covariance between x2 and e equal to 0. What you are really doing is you have the x1, x2 axis, you have a perpendicular from y. So what you are saying is x1 and e should be perpendicular, x2 and e should be perpendicular. This gives you two equations which you can solve for two unknowns, beta 1, beta 2. Right? Sure? Now suppose your regression equation is like this. Okay, suppose your regression equation is like this. yi is alpha plus beta 1 x1i plus beta 2 x2i. Right? Now this is an alpha. So what do you think? How will you write it in a matrix form? You will say y1, y2, y3, y4, yn. Yeah? Then you write 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 n times. The first column will be all 1s. The second will be x11, x12, x13, x1n. The second column will be x21, 3, and suppose x2n. Yeah? And then you write alpha, beta 1, beta 2 plus, yeah, E1, E2 up to En. So what is the first equation? y1 is equal to alpha plus beta 1 x11 plus beta 2 x21 plus E1. y2 will be sorry, alpha plus beta 1 x12 plus beta 2 x22 plus E. Right? Sure? Now if I impose the condition x dash e is equal to 0 here, I require 3 equations and 3 unknowns now. To solve for alpha, beta 1 and beta 2, 3 equations are required. So tell me what those equations will be from x dash e is equal to 0. from x dash is equal to 0, what will those equations be? So what will be x dash now? Will somebody volunteer to tell me what those equations will be? There is no greater fun than learning on your own. Yeah? So try to tell me what equations, what will the three equations be? Yes. So x dash will be 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 n times x11, x12, x13, x1n, x21, x22, yeah? So what will be x dash if x dash is now 3 cross n. E is n cross 1. So x dash E will be 3 cross 1. What will be the first row, first column? Summation EI is equal to 0. Then summation x dash 1 EI is equal to 0. Summation x1 I EI equal to 0. The third condition will be, yeah? Yeah? From those equations, what do we have? If there is a constant in the model, summation EI will necessarily be equal to 0. If summation EI is equal to 0, what would E bar be? 0. Because E bar is summation EI upon n. So E will have a mean 0 mean. Right? Now, the important part that I want you to understand. So I am going back from the general linear regression to the simple linear. Okay, because a lot of principles are easier to explain when you think of the simple linear regression. So, what do we have here? Yeah? Now what is beta hat really? It's an estimator of the actual beta. The actual beta is a fixed number. The key point is to understand that the actual parameter that we are trying to estimate is a fixed number. It doesn't change. Yeah? But the value of beta hat that we get is a random variable. Why? Because what is beta hat depends upon what is the sample. And your sample has been chosen randomly. So if you choose a different sample, you get a different beta hat. Whereas the actual beta that you are trying to know will remain unchanged. Yeah? Like for example, think of trying to make a guess at the complexion of, say, Mahadev Govind Ranade. You can't see Mahadev Govind Ranade anymore because he's passed away, right? But you have various pictures of Mr. Ranade, and from that picture, you might actually try to make a guess of the complexion of Mr. Ranade, right? Now, all pictures will be different from each other. So, the guess that you will make of the complexion of Mr. Ranade based on any picture would depend upon the picture that you have chosen, and therefore would vary from picture to picture. But will the actual skin complexion of Mr. Ranade change? It won't. It's a fixed number, right? So the actual parameters that we try to estimate are not random variables. The actual skin tone or complexion of Mr. Ranade is not a random variable. It is not an outcome of a chance experiment. What is the outcome of a chance experiment is the picture that you see. the guess that you make, which is based on the picture that you see. There are many pictures of Mr. Ranade, and if you pick up one randomly, you will get a different picture of Mr. Ranade. Right? Okay? So similarly, beta hat is a random variable, whereas beta is not a random variable. Beta is a fixed number. The problem is we can never know beta. We can never know whether Mr. Ranade was really dark or fair or whatever, because neither is he alive nor is there anybody who has actually seen him. Right? So all that we have are photographs which can vary. Skin tones and color, skin complexions can vary a lot in photographs and in paintings and so on. Right? So we can only make a guess. And that guess depends upon the information that we have, which is the data. And therefore beta hat will be a random variable. Now if something is a random variable, what does it have? It has a probability distribution. Right? It has a probability distribution. So let us try to think what kind of a probability distribution will beta have. Because if we do not know beta, we only have beta hat. Right? Then we have to know beta hat fully well. We know beta hat is a random variable. So the next step is to actually understand what kind of a probability distribution that random variable has. Yeah? So that we can then make some, then that we have then as much information as possible about that beta. So just the value of beta hat is not important. The value of beta hat is not particularly important. What we really need to know is what is the underlying probability distribution of beta hat. We need to know what are the different values of beta hat that can be generated by samples. We need to know what is the probability of each particular value. Right? We need to know what is the mean of all those values. We need to know what is the variance of all those values. We need to know other things like the skewness and the kurtosis if applicable. Right? And therefore our next step, it's not enough to only calculate the value of beta hat. Yeah, for example, if you are trying to study the relationship between advertisement expenditure of a company and its sales, so you will have YI is sales, XI is the company's advertisement expenditure, and suppose you are using data for the last 6 months or say last 3 years, each of the data point is a random variable. Why is each of the data point? See, that's a very important point. The company would say that this is all the data we have. This is the entire data from 1921 or say 2001 when we began to 2016 per month. There is no other data. So there is no other sample that you can have. If you or think of trying to calculate the marginal propensity to consume in India. So you have data on consumption expenditure in India, which comes from the economic survey from 1951 to 2016. You have the data on GDP in India from 1951 to 2016. So you are in a sense using all the data. There is no chance of you being able to pick up any other sample. Right? You don't get, for example, there is no chance that you will get another sample in which the GDP data for 1950 for India is a different number. You are not going to get any other sample. But even then, beta hat would still continue to be a random variable. Can you tell me why? Can you tell me why? This is a very important question which in general you have to think of when you do what are called time regressions on time series data. Data are arranged in time.
So because maybe in this example that you gave about GDP and marginal propensity to consume, you say that we have data from 1951, but consumption did happen even before we started collecting the data in the first place. So in that sense, 1951 to whatever is itself a sample space.
Yeah, but it's a sample. But could you have taken any other sample from 1951 to 2016? No. Or maybe the company began operations in 2001. And you have all the data generated by the company. Every single sale. Yeah? Or suppose think of big data now. You have the data on every single transaction at Tesco for the last 5 years. Every single transaction, every single quantity bought, every single price charged, and you are supposed to find out the elasticity of demand. That is, y is equal to alpha plus beta xi, where both are natural logs really. So can you tell me what?
So since beta is an estimator of our dependent variable, so whatever the beta would be, can actually fluctuate from different paths. Say if I'm multiplying my beta with xi, it would actually give me an estimate of my dependent variable y. So where in beta could change because we exactly doesn't know whether this is the only variable that is impacting. So hence
No, but I've got a fixed sample. I've decided to choose x as a variable. It says that if I choose a fresh data on x, I'll get a different beta, which is fine. But suppose when x is the only data available, there is possibly no other data, logically possible. When do I have the whole population? Suppose I have all the data on the sales and price charged by a company since its inception. Do I have the entire population? Yeah?
Sir, actually, in an economy, say there are 100 people. Only 20 are the customers of that particular company. And the company cannot maybe infer that the behavior of these 20 consumers will be the behavior of all the 100 consumers.
So what he's saying is something important. What he's really saying is, think of the GDP data of 1951. It's true that that's the only data piece you have. But that is not the only data that could have been. The data in 1951 is one possible value among many possible values that could have been, had some other things happened to the economy. Yeah? So you should look at the data in 1951 as an outcome of a random variable, as one particular realization of a random variable. Like suppose you play a game of chess, or we toss a coin, and your earnings are +1, +1, +1, -2, -1, -1, -1, +1, -1, -1, +1. You know the entire history of your game. Is that the only sequence that could have been generated? No. There are several sequences that could have been generated. Right? So what you have is a one specific realization of a random variable. Yeah? So which clearly means that you could have got, because you got different possible realizations by random variables, you could have got different values of beta hat. So therefore, like suppose you are trying to model the sales of a company as a function of the advertisement expenditure of the company. And suppose the data says that every time you increase advertisement expenditure by 1 lakh rupees, sales go up by say 1,10,000 rupees. Every time you increase advertisement expenditure by 1 lakh rupees, sales go up by 1,10,000 rupees. Right? So the beta hat value is 1.1. Every time there is a 1 rupee increase in advertisement expenditure, sales go up by 1.1. Yeah? This is an estimated beta hat. In this particular sample, you got beta hat equal to 1.1. It makes sense therefore to incur the advertisement expenditure. Because every 1 rupee is going to give you 1 rupee 10 paise. Right? So your ROI on this advertisement, the return on investment is 10%. Because every 1 rupee gives you 1 rupee 10%. But just acting on this information could be extremely hazardous. Because you know that beta hat is actually a random variable. What if your beta hat actually is like this? So think of the distribution of beta hat, this is 0. And suppose your beta hat is actually like this. Yeah? So this is 0, this is 1.1 and so on. So it says most of the probability distribution is actually on the negative side. Yeah? So actually, by and large, if you spend money on advertisement, you actually incur losses. Maybe your advertisement is really bad, right? Okay, but the distribution is like this, and you have seen one particular value of this distribution. When you did this data, you got this one particular realization. So you say 1.1, but it's extremely hazardous to act on that, because you might actually be incurring huge losses. So the next key to understand is to understand the whole probability distribution of beta. The next step that we are going to do is to understand the probability distribution function of beta. What is its probability distribution? What does it mean? What is its variance? Yeah, those are the next important questions that we need to answer. So calculating beta hat is one part of the story. So far we have learned that even if you calculate beta hat sensibly, you require x and e to be uncorrelated. If x and e are correlated, then you have a problem. So this formula doesn't work at all. But even if the formula works, it doesn't mean you can always act on that number without asking further questions. Is this point clear to everybody? And is the importance of this point? Yeah.
Sir, but wouldn't the probability distribution change after a period of time? As in 1951, the 1.1 that actually happened was the advertisement expenditure of 1 lakh that was incurred after having studied the probability distribution at that point of time. So if and the realization was 1.1, so it was profitable. So now, what is the use of studying the 1.1 if it was already profitable?
He has a very, very important question, because what he says is, would the probability distribution not change over time? Right? Such probability distributions which change over time are generally called non-stationary distributions. Yeah? And those are important parts of time series economics to study those non-stationary distributions and how to actually model the changing distributions. Right? When you come to your third or the fourth semester, you will actually learn a paper called time series analysis, where you will actually learn about non-stationary time series data and non-stationary probability distributions and so on, and how to model those non-stationary probability distributions. Okay? As of now, because we don't want to get into those complications, we'll assume that this world is a stable world. There is a stable stationary distribution here. This probability distribution not changing over time. So once I'm given the data, I can find out beta hat. The distribution of beta hat is not going to change in the future. Right? You're very right. It can actually change, and a lot of catastrophic things happen around the world. And because a lot of catastrophic things happen around the world, forecasting is a very, very difficult exercise. Somebody told me one day that